right. Can you show me that again?
Yeah.
Cylinder heads aren't in my car.
Say again what you're saying?
Cylinder heads aren't in my car.
Cylinder heads?
Is that what
No, that's the cylinder head over there.
Oh.
Yeah, and the cylinder head is in the contract if the if there's a moving component that didn't.
Head gasket.
Yeah, but that's not the part that damaged. The head gasket didn't do that to the cylinder.
What did that?
The piston and the piston rings, which are a moving component. No, I'm trying to work the estimate up right now. I've got everything except I've just got to get the I got to get the updated price on the engine to where I can. You're not gonna feel it, what it is. So yeah.
Your mileage?
Yeah, I was working on my house this weekend and I had to cut some trim.
I thought you lived here.
I do. I live right next door. At that house right there, and I was working on it, cutting the trim. That's why I was doing it in here. I was trying not to make too big of a
I
mess.
see that we're living.
So you see how all this stuff is nice and smooth and everything inside there? So everything's nice and smooth down in that one, right?
Yeah.
So then you look in that one, and you can see that black mark that's right there.
We're balanced messed up?
Well, both of these are. So that right there, all of that, that's where the piston is sitting there, hitting, bouncing up and down in the cylinders. It should not be. It should not do that. It should look like that.
This one?
This one.
This one's rusty too.
Well, the rust we're not worried about. That's just surface rust from it being exposed to the atmosphere right now. That I can take a little wheel and clean that off in a split second. But see how this wall is nice and perfect, shiny. There's no that black mark down there. Not the rust. Don't worry about the rust. But all these little ridges that are down there,
Yeah.
all that stuff. See how this one's nice and shiny like that? That's how it should look. That one is doing the same deal, where it's sitting there. What's happening is this piston is sitting there bouncing back and forth.
And if we don't fix it, what will happen?
What's going to wind up happening is that it's going to wear out to the point where it's going to lose compression on these two cylinders, and you're going to be running, instead of having a 4-cylinder, you're going to have a 2-cylinder.
You find a key?
No. So this one, I mean, this one isn't as bad, but there is definitely, some wear in there.
And what causes that?
Huh?
What caused that to go bad?
It's the pistons that are basically the piston rings are wearing where they're causing and the only way to fix that, there's 2 ways to fix it. You can take this motor apart and you can put it in, take it to the machine shop, and they can machine these out and then press in sleeves that go in there. And most warranty companies, they're not going to do that option because there's a ton of liability that they're on the hook for doing that. Or you can replace the engine block, in which is that's what we're gonna have them do, and that's what they're gonna, and more than likely they're just gonna pay us to actually get the motor on this one, because usually these engines, I have to double check, but usually for what I can buy them from the dealership, it's cheaper than what you can buy them from a junk shop. And so if you buy, if they can get a used one for, let's say, $3,000, but the dealer one is $2,900 or something, well, they're not going to spend $3,000 to be on the hook for a used motor when I can buy mine, I can sell them mine for $2,900. And this is a hypothetical. I don't know that it's $2,900, but most of the time on these, because the dealer knew that these had a problem. You know, they had that problem with that coolant consumption. They updated the design on there. What they did is, nope, this little slit right here. So this isn't related to the TSP, but the motor itself has that TSP on it. So the motor needs to be updated, but it's not due to what you've got right now. But the warranty company isn't going to update it for you just because of that TSP. They're going to say, no, we're not going to cover it because of that TSP. So if we find something else that has anything to do with what they would cover that doesn't pertain to that TSP, which we have done, then they can come back and we can get them to cover this and it not pertain to any type of technical service bulletin or anything. The bulletin pertains to this little coolant jacket right here. What happens is this little slit that's right here. So they did that to allow for coolant to pass through. So if you look where that is, look at this cylinder here. It goes right in between here. Okay, it goes into these coolant jackets right here. And what's happening is, and it hasn't happened on this one, but usually what happens is like this will break off right here or on there over on the engine side, and that will cause your head gasket to leak like that. That'll cause, so basically like this little piece right here will chip off or there, it'll crack somewhere in there and it'll leak in the head. Hasn't done any of that, so the TSB doesn't pertain to this particular engine. However, this engine still needs to be replaced. We still need to update it so it doesn't happen later, which is what I'm trying to do for you. The other thing is that there's too many negative things about this motor that like if I were to go through and put it in, and we can't get the warranty company to approve the piston, like we can't get them to put another motor in there, right? And all we can do is get them to put the head gasket on there. I would tell you to get rid of this car as soon as you can, like once it's running and driving, get rid of it, because at that point, the warranty company isn't covering what I need them to cover to where this motor would be good. So at that point, I wouldn't be warranting, like I'm not going to warranty this head gasket on there if they're not, like, if that head gasket blows, 6 months from now, because of the fact that there is something wrong with this engine block, and something finally does break in there or something, we knew that this motor needed to be redone, needed to be updated. There's also, like I've talked about with, again, I know that the warranty company is not going to cover it, not going to worry about that. They're not going to cover it due to the sludge in the engine, but we don't need to worry about that for this. All we have to worry about is this. This is what they're worried about. This is what will condemn this engine. And these are things like this is why I want to get it condemned and get you a new motor in there, because I know you don't want to have to get another car. You'd like to keep this vehicle and you'd like to have it done right, and I'm doing my best to get it to where they will cover the engine on here and not do just this head gasket. Because there's too many things on here. All of these things, this motor, with stuff like that, if they don't cover it for that, that's going to become a problem later. this right here, this is going to become a problem for you later with all of this engine sludge. And then you go to try to clean it out, and then you can have problems. So there's too many negatives for this to want to try to keep. If this was something where a customer came to me and we're not dealing with a warranty company on this, and I pulled this apart and looked at this motor and said, hey, should we salvage this motor or should we put a new motor in there? I'm going to tell you to put a new motor in there. Because there's no sense to even try to redo that, to do that sleeve, or to try to sleeve it or rebuild this engine or anything. Cleaning all that, the only thing to do is to take this motor apart, completely rebuild it, put all new bearings on the inside, and by the time you do that, I can get you a brand new motor. So there's no sense in salvaging this motor. But if the warranty company only wants to pay for what it is to basically band-aid it, to get it back to fix the problem that you brought it in for, this stuff has nothing to do with what you brought it in for. This is extra stuff that we have found that, once we've got in there, that needs to be addressed. That if I put the head gasket on, the car's going to run, it's going to start running, it's going to work. But how long is it going to work? And that's where I'm not going to tell you that, hey, I'm going to be on the hook for that. I'm not going to tell you, hey, all this stuff that's going on, you're going to have more problems later. So if we need to get you, if we can't get this motor condemned by the warranty company and all we can get them to do is put this head gasket on, then you need to try to sell this car and get out from under it as soon as you can. Or start saving and be prepared to put a motor in there yourself, because you're gonna be doing that. It's going to happen. So I mean, that's.
What's that gonna do to my pocket?
So right now, I mean, all we would have. The good thing is that if they actually if we can get them to do the long block, like we're talking about, doing the motor, then the motor's going to come with the new spark plugs. So the plugs that we talked about that I was going to have to get for you, the new motor's going to come with it. So that'll save you money there. I think the only thing they won't cover is the oil filter, which it's a couple of dollars, it's like $4 or $5. And then the shop supplies and stuff. So that kind of stuff. You can. It's on there. Well, I think I may have taken it off to have the to match the price with them, because they do, like, there's taxes on those shop supplies and stuff, and so I take it off to where whenever I do when we go over the estimate, I can see exactly what they're supposed to be paying, make sure it all matches up, because a lot of times those warranty companies, they have a thing that says that Texas has a 6.25% tax. Have you ever paid 6.25% for taxes anywhere in Texas?
Well, I think I'm on that.
But like, if you go to the store and you buy, right, it's 8.25.
They only pay 6.25.
Well, the warranty company will pay the 8.25 because it sells. What that is that's use tax. I pay 8.25%.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, so housing taxes are different and everything. The percentage, like cars, like when you pay taxes on a car, it's 6.25%. But on like if you go down and you buy a Monster or you buy something from the store that they charge taxes on, they charge you 8.25, and we don't get any of that money. That 8.25 goes directly to the government.
Okay, so what's the time frame?
As soon as I'm calling them today and getting that done, and then from there it depends on if they approve it, if they want to look at, if they want to send an inspector, they want me to give them pictures. It all depends. If they send out an inspector, it could be a couple days, and then from there, then the inspector will come back. Not necessarily. I mean, that has nothing to do with this. So, this is just something that I would just try to. That's the oil pump timing chain. So you have another chain down here that drives these gears that go on your cylinder.
So what's the time frame that they approve it?
if they approve it and everything, then we can get the motor. I mean, I'm pretty sure the dealer has those motors like pretty readily available. I'm about to find that out here in just a bit, and as long as they do, I mean, then it's just a matter of putting the new motor in and putting it back up. I mean, it's not very long. It's going to come how that head was sitting on here. It's going to come complete. So it'll come with a new head. It'll come with a new block, new oil pan, new timing cover, all new timing chains. No, that's a short block. Long block is everything. So that engine that's right there, that is the one that's sitting on the ground right there, that V8, that's a long block. Basically, it comes with everything except for your turbo, your intake manifold, and sometimes your valve cover. Yeah, there's nothing wrong that I can see with, I mean, there was no indication that you had any problems with the turbo. And yeah, I mean, I don't see any issues wrong with the turbo on here or anything like that. Unless there was something where you told them that they overheated it or did anything like that.
It's only overheated one time. The water pump went out like years ago.
Right.
Never overheated. It has overheated.
Yeah. I mean, there's no oil over here or anything like that. Like, there's nothing to indicate that, there would be any problem with this turbo. And on something like that, you have to have codes, you have to have a bunch of stuff to try to condemn that to the warranty company. That would be something where, if it failed, if it is bad or something, we would have to do that, like, after we would have to do a supplement where after we get it running and driving and all that kind of stuff, where we can actually take it and drive down the road, then we can check all of that stuff and see, okay, there's something wrong with this, and we would call them back before it ever left the shop and before we ever closed out that ticket. So I understand. And warranty, here's the thing, warranty stuff takes a long time. I mean, if you want to, it's here because of it's here for this long because of the warranty. If this was something where I'm dealing with this as customer is paying for it, then it would be, I don't have to go through so many hoops. It's not even, just to be able to even call the warranty company, I have to have so many things in order. Yeah, I think it's the head gasket and everything's like $3,000 or something like that for doing the head gasket. I think there may be, I don't remember what the actual, I have it in there on what the total approval is, but they approved that, and now I have to go back in and basically resubmit a whole other claim on this, adding, showing, hey, look, we've got this torn down. This is what we found. We basically have to do a supplement to say, hey, look, we've torn this down. We found this. This is not something that we would suggest, reusing this engine because of this damage that's done on this head, on this engine block. And then from there, they'll tell us whether or not they want to reuse it or they want to put a new motor. And if they want to put a new motor, then they're going to tell us, okay, here's the price that we can get on this new motor, and what's your price on what it is. And if we can get a better price than them, then they'll use our motor. If not, then we're gonna have to use their motor. And if their motor is a used motor, then you got the same outdated, it's not the updated block, but it's a motor, and they'll warranty it for a specific time, so it is what it is. If something fails on that, then the problem with that is that if they send a new motor, like they're gonna send a new motor in, and like they'll send it, and then they're not gonna give us the money for all the gaskets and all that kind of stuff. They're gonna give us the motor, and so it's like you could try to sell that motor and get money from that, and then put that towards the bill. But at that point, it would be better to just use the motor that they send us, put it in, and then let them warranty it. Right, because if you use this one, you still got that TSB, And there's a chance.
They're gonna
I
send
mean,
one that's gonna be good.
they're going to send a used one, and the thing is, the used one, if they're going to send either a used or whatever best price that they can get, they just go with the best price that they can get. So if they can get one from their vendor that is a long block and it's cheaper than what they can buy a used one, then they'll go with that one. Or if they can get a used one and it's cheaper, like if they have a used one for $1,000 or something, you're not going to buy a long block, for $1,000. But and then they'll say, well, we can get a used one for $1,000, so we'll either send you the used one, or we'll do the, we'll give you $1,000 towards the other motor. Right, and I understand that, but and then there's a chance that the one that they got out of that used car is an updated engine, because these are being updated quite a bit. So there's that possibility. But all I can say is, this is something where this is on the extended warranty on the time frame, because I have to jump through a million hoops with this. If this was something where you said, hey, we're gonna do the head gasket, I tear it down, and I say, yeah, no, we need to do a motor, and you improve the motor, this would have been done already. I don't have to go through there is a huge process to go and talk and make it. They approved the head gasket, but that has nothing to do with the motor. The motor is going to be more money. It's going to cost more money to do that, and so they have to prove that. They have to approve that additional money.
Hopefully they will.
And as long as they do, then we're good. If not, then we're going to put the head gasket on, and that's what it's going to be. And then when the problems that occur happen that I'm telling you about, then you'll have to deal with the warranty company again on there, or that it's just what it's going to have to be.
You're having it to them today?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for talking to me.